Well, we'll go ahead and get started. Good afternoon, and thank you all for coming. My name is Scott Hogue. I'm the Chief of Police here with the Post Falls Police Department. And I'd like to introduce Sheriff Wolfinger to my left here, and the City of Post Falls Mayor Ron Jacobson next to Sheriff Wolfinger. The purpose for this meeting today is just to provide you some details on the missing person case that the Post Falls Police Department has been working on. One of the things I want to say right off the bat is this is an active investigation, and there are a lot of details that we can't discuss right now. And so I know everyone wants all of the facts and wants all the details, but we're not going to be able to give everything. It's just part of an active investigation, and hopefully you'll understand that there is a lot of information out there, but we just won't be able to talk about all of that. But we do want to make sure that we give you what we can. Sheriff Wolfinger and myself met with all of the detectives that are working this case. Agency or detectives from the Post Falls Police Department, the Kootenai County Sheriff's Department, Coeur d'Alene Police Department's been involved, and the FBI's Violent Crimes Task Force has been involved too. So there's a lot of resources that are going into this case, and obviously it's a priority for all of us at this stage. I think everyone's familiar with the missing person case, but I want to take just a couple of moments and walk you through how we got to this point. On the evening of Saturday, October 22nd, the Post Falls Police Department responded to the report of a missing person case. Our agency was contacted by the wife of Mr. Kirk, goes by Bo, that he was last seen at his place of work, the Northwest Specialty Hospital in Post Falls, at approximately 7 p.m. He was leaving work. He was supposed to arrive home sometime around 7:20, and he did not arrive. As our officers were trying to locate Bo, we received a report at about 9:43 p.m. that his vehicle was on fire in the 23,000 block of North Rimrock Road on the north end of Kootenai County. Emergency responders arrived on the scene to find a pickup truck fully engulfed in flames, and the pickup registered to Mr. Kirk, is our understanding, the same one that he had driven to work that day. Mr. Kirk was not found at that scene. We know now, as part of our investigation, that withdrawals were made from two separate banks in the Hayden area, one from Bank CDA and withdrawals from the U.S. Bank in the Hayden area as well. The U.S. Bank withdrawal was made at 8:34, and the Bank CDA withdrawal was made at 8:46. We've released one video of the Bank CDA ATM surveillance, and we've got a lot of tips, gotten a lot of tips from that. We've had over 300 tips come into our agency, which is great. And I just want to say thank you very much to our partners in the community that are taking the time to look at that video, think about where they were at that point in time, and giving us that information. That's what helps solve these kind of cases, is us working together as a community. This is not just the police department or the sheriff's department working this case. This is all of us working together on that. So we thank you for that. We have just recently, within the last 30 minutes, received the video from the U.S. Bank ATM withdrawal that happened, and we are in the process of uploading that, and we will get that out to you here in the next half hour to 45 minutes. It has sort of a different view, and so I think it'll be beneficial as we work through this case. Yesterday at 12:10 in the afternoon, the Kootenai County Sheriff's Department received a report of a body that was located in the Hayden Creek area. And I'm sad to report that that body has been identified as Mr. Kirk. And the family has been notified, and I know much of the family's here today. Before I turn some time over to the sheriff and then the mayor, I'd like to say on behalf of the Post Falls Police Department that our deepest condolences go to the family. This is a very, very difficult time for them. It's a difficult time for their friends, the co-workers, and quite frankly, it's a difficult time for the investigators who work these cases as well. So our condolences. But I want to know that while we hurt with you, you have our word that it's going to be our priority to work with the Kootenai County Sheriff's Department to do the best we can to solve this case. The missing person case will be transitioned to a homicide investigation, and the sheriff will talk about this in a moment, but we will be supporting them in any way that we can as they work through this difficult case. We will assign investigators in whatever we can to assist. Secondly, I want the public to know that I understand that there's a lot of concern out there of, what are the facts, what's happened in this case. And we don't have all of that information now, but our commitment is to get it. We're going to work tirelessly. We're going to put all of our resources behind, again, trying to find out what happened here so we can put your mind at ease. And I want to say, keep the tips coming in. If you have information, you know of information, get that in, and the sheriff will talk about where those tips should come to. And with that, I'm going to turn over the time to Sheriff Wolfinger.
Thank you, Scott. Good afternoon. As Scott said, we got the call yesterday about 12:10 of a body in the Hayden Creek area between the Triangle 7 Road and the Ohio Match Road. When deputies arrived, they cordoned off the area, and we started our investigation. Detectives worked late into the night, processing that crime scene, and then finally identifying the victim as Mr. Kirk. Today, the autopsy is being done as we speak. Detectives are there at the autopsy, hoping to collect evidence that will help us find who's responsible for this. Right now, as Scott said, they've already had over 300 tips, and our detectives and their detectives are working those jointly, trying to track every one of those down to find out who's responsible. As we go through this, I know more tips, the better. Right now, you can do it anonymously if you wish. On the KCSO website, there's an anonymous tip line there, or you can call the Sheriff's Office or the Post Falls Police Department. We'll take all that information. We're also asking businesses in the area, particularly of Government Way, Hayden area, of any video surveillance tape from Saturday evening during those hours. If you'd review that, we know we have the banks, but any other videos we would certainly like to see. Any other vehicles, any other pictures we may be able to obtain from those. That's a huge thing for us. Also, we'd like to talk to anybody who is hunting or may have game cameras in the Hayden Creek area. Those are issues that our investigators would like to talk to. Finally, at the U.S. Bank, in the video we just received, it hasn't even been uploaded yet, we know that there was a red car right behind Mr. Kirk's pickup. And we would like to talk to the occupants of that car. We think they're a witness. We'd like to hear anything they had to say. So if they would contact either the Post Falls Police or the Sheriff's Office, we'd be very appreciative of that. We know there's a lot of misinformation out there right now. It's been coming out for the last several days. The only valid information will come through a law enforcement source. And I know social media is just alive with all kinds of misinformation, but if it doesn't come from the Sheriff's Office or Post Falls PD, question its authenticity. And I just ask you to bear with us for that. As Scott said, this is a process, and it's going to take time to go through this process. We still have deputies on scene in Hayden Creek. Detectives are still on scene. There's a lot of work to do, and it's going to take some time to do this and process all those tips that we have coming in. We're going to find who's responsible. That's our promise to you. That's what we hope to do. And lastly, I want to just echo Scott's thoughts on our condolences from the Sheriff's Office as well. I personally knew Bo, and so it hits all of us. So thank you, and for the media, Lieutenant Miller at the Sheriff's Office will be the follow-up guy for you guys starting tomorrow. So thank you. Mayor?
Chief, Sheriff, thank you very much. This is the kind of press conference you hope you never have to attend. To the family and friends, Mr. Kirk, our thoughts and prayers are with you. To echo what the Chief and the Sheriff has said, it is an ongoing investigation. Facts will come out. And you could not ask for two better law enforcement agencies to be working this. And I'm confident that they will, in fact, find those responsible and bring them to justice. So we, again, express our condolences, ask for your patience. Bear with them. They will get the job done. Thank you very much.
We'll try to answer any questions that you may have, but please understand that there's a lot of things that we won't be able to talk about, but we'll give this a try.
Can you name a suspect right now at this time who could be a person of interest in this case?
No, we really can't. We've gotten lots of tips, but we still have to ferret all that out.
Sheriff, has there been any additional activity on Mr. Kirk's banking accounts that might indicate that there were additional withdrawals or that the person responsible went this direction or that direction?
Just the 3 that evening. Yeah.
Sheriff, you said that we should question the authenticity of anything that comes from a source other than you guys. Has there been misinformation out there that you need to or want to clear up right now?
No, I think we've cleared it up already today. Yesterday and today, we cleared up a lot of that. So, in fact, if I could just mention the one that I think the chief just took care of, there was a rumor that we'd already had 3 people in custody, and that's not accurate. So,
Can you tell us what, if anything, about Mr. Kirk's emails and telephone conversations in the previous 24 hours prior to his disappearance? Is that...
it's just part of the investigation right now, Jeff, and we're not going to get into those details.
Is there anything right now that leads you guys to believe that this was a pre-planned attack? Was it random? What do you guys think?
We just don't know yet. We're going to let the evidence take us down the right road. So we'll wait and see where the tips and the evidence lead us.
Then only the person who killed Mr. Kirk knows what made Mr. Kirk dead, and I appreciate you being reluctant to mention exactly how that occurred. But is there something you can tell us about why you're certain that this is in fact death at the hands of a different person?
We're investigating it as a homicide, but I can't get into the details of why.
Is there a threat to the public right now?
We don't know. We don't know. But we're certainly putting all the resources we can at this to resolve this issue right away.
The person in the surveillance video at the ATM, can you speak to, is that person a suspect? What do we know about them?
Well, we'd certainly like to talk to them. I mean, that would be a good person of interest if we could identify them. But you've seen the video just as much as we have. And so you know as much as we do with that.
Have you all determined the gender of the person that appears in the video that's been released to people?
Well, it's like I said, you've seen it just as much as we have, Jeff. And so, yeah, it looks like it's probably a male, but that's about all we can say.
Jeff, to that point, we have had some comments that people have thought it looked like a female. I think that may be where you were headed with that. But that's all things that the investigators will need to flush out as they forensically review that video and try and determine what they can with the video.
Has anybody forensically reviewing it suggested that the lowest layer of clothing on that person appears to be hospital scrubs?
Well, we haven't, I don't know that yet. Like I said, we're pretty early into this investigation. Yesterday we spent the day at the scene. And so.
Yeah.
And about the video, I know you guys have the abilities and the technology to enhance it more than what we have been able to see. Any idea or indication that there was someone else in that vehicle?
When we get to that part of the video, we'll be able to know that. So, but we haven't gotten there yet. We need to take this one step at a time, and we first have to worry about the scene. Obviously, today's weather is certainly destroying our scene, and so we have to process that as we can first.
Does the proximity and location of where Mr. Kirk was discovered and where the burned-out vehicle was discovered, where he lives and where he works, does that suggest that your killer is intimately familiar with this area? He's never been to Hayden Creek. Do you have to live here to know that it's there?
No, it seems to be a pretty popular area. There were dozens and dozens of cars there that we had to turn around yesterday. So it's a very popular area in the northern part of the county.
The scene of where the body was found, how difficult is it to actually get there? I know that's a very wooded area. Is there problems getting crews in and out of there?
No, it's just a drive up a dirt road.
Is it National Forest land?
It is on National Forest land, yeah.
Can you clarify if there were 2 or 3 bank withdrawals?
There were 3 bank withdrawals at 2 banks, Ryan.
Did the withdrawals continue until there was no more money in Mr. Kirk's savings account or bank account, or is it a joint account?
I don't have that answer for you, Jeff. I know that there were 3 withdrawals at 2 banks.
Can you state how much was withdrawn?
No, we're not going to release that at this point.
Other questions?
Historically, in our area, stranger-to-stranger homicides are quite rare, and it would be great to think that there is not a person or persons out there ready to abduct, kill, and then withdraw money from that victim's bank account. Again, forgive me, stranger-to-stranger murders, kidnappings, homicides are rare in our community.
Yes, very rare. I think you and I both remember the last one here. So,
I have to ask, the body that was found in Coeur d'Alene, Super One, earlier, do you have any idea that that has anything to do with this?
there's no indication. I know that man took his own life. So,
The manner of death, that's still pending?
it is pending.
Okay.
Were there shell casings found at the scene of where the truck was found?
We're not going to release any information on the individual evidence at this point.
Okay, with that, we'd like to thank everyone for coming, and please understand that a lot of these questions we couldn't answer, and as this investigation proceeds, hopefully some of those questions can be answered. We're not trying to hide anything, but from an investigative standpoint, you want to make sure that you don't release too much information and jeopardize a case. Our number one goal is to solve this case, and neither one of us want to do anything to harm that possibility, and so that's why you're not getting some of the information that maybe you think, why wouldn't they release that? So that's why. But anyways, thank you very much for coming. The sheriff and I will be around for just a little while if there's some further questions. Other than that, keep the tips coming in, and we look forward to working with you to solve this case. Thank you very much.
Thank you.